One bad deal, one bad secret, and one bad night are about to turn the Permian Basin into a war zone. Gallino versus Tommy Norris is no longer simmering under the surface. It's boiling over. In Landman, Season 2, Episode 6 looks ready to rip the mask off everyone pretending this was ever just about oil. By now, you can feel it. The tone has shifted. The air is heavier. Every conversation feels like it's happening with a gun just out of frame. Episode 6 isn't another slow burn chapter. It's the moment the chessboard flips, and Tommy realizes he's been playing defense while Galino's already 3 moves ahead. Let's get one thing straight. Gallino was never just a background threat. From the second Andy Garcia stepped into this world with that calm voice and expensive suit, the message was clear. This man doesn't raise his voice, he raises leverage. And episode 6 is shaping up to be the point where that leverage snaps tight around the Norris family. Tommy Norris has spent his entire life fixing other people's messes: blowouts, bankrupt rigs, drunk fathers, broken marriages, reckless sons. He's the guy who shows up after the damage is done and somehow keeps the lights on. But here's the problem: Gallino isn't a mess you clean up, he's a system. And systems don't care how tough you are. Season 2 has been quietly boxing Tommy in. MTX is bleeding money after that catastrophic rig failure. The boardroom is turning icy. Cammy is playing a dangerous game that smells like betrayal, even if her intentions are clean. Cooper, bless his stubborn heart, has unknowingly walked straight into cartel territory with that land deal. And TL's surprise return to the ranch? That's not nostalgia. That's old ghosts kicking down the door. Episode 6, titled Dark Night of the Soul, isn't subtle about what it's coming for. This isn't about explosions first, it's about pressure, the kind that crushes men from the inside out. Tommy is exhausted. You can see it in every stare, every pause before he answers. He's carrying generational trauma, corporate responsibility, and cartel attention all at once. And Gallino knows it. That's what makes Gallino terrifying. He doesn't rush. He studies. He already spared Tommy once, not because of mercy, but because Tommy is useful. Honor, loyalty, pride. Gallino sees those as weaknesses to exploit. Episode 6 looks like the moment he decides to stop circling and start tightening the net. There's a strong chance this episode forces Tommy into a no-win decision. Protect Cooper and risk MTX collapsing. Save the company and sacrifice family. Or worse, partner with the devil just long enough to survive. Gallino's whole strategy hinges on one thing: making Tommy believe cooperation is the only way out. And let's talk about Cooper for a second. Episode 6 theories point toward his oil discovery becoming less of a blessing and more of a target. That land isn't just valuable, it's clean. Clean money potential. Perfect for laundering cartel cash through legitimate operations. Cooper doesn't see the trap yet. Tommy does. And that knowledge alone might be what finally breaks him. Meanwhile, Cammy's position is getting hotter by the minute. That bailout move from episode 5 wasn't just risky, it was explosive. Episode 6 could reveal whether she's playing a long con against Gallino or whether she's already been outmaneuvered. Either way, her choices might light the fuse that brings Gallino and Tommy into direct collision. And then there's TL, the old lion with blood on his hands and regret in his eyes. Episode 6 may finally turn him from emotional baggage into an asset. He knows the oil game the old way, the dirty way, the way that doesn't end in courtrooms, but in quiet disappearances. If Tommy needs help he never wanted to ask for, it's standing right there at the ranch. Everything about this episode points to one truth: the fixer is about to be tested in a way he never has before. Not by rigs, not by markets, but by a man who doesn't care about rules, only outcomes. So here's the real question heading into episode 6. When Gallino finally forces Tommy to choose between survival and honor, which one dies first? By the time episode 6 hits its stride, it becomes painfully clear this isn't just Gallino versus Tommy anymore. This is about exposure, about who gets dragged into the light first, when secrets stop staying buried. Gallino's power has always been quiet. No shootouts, no tantrums, just polite conversations that leave people broke, scared, or owned. And that's exactly why episode 6 feels different, because the silence starts cracking. Deals that once felt untouchable suddenly feel fragile. And Tommy, for the first time, isn't just reacting, he's watching, listening, connecting dots that were never meant to line up. There's a growing sense that Gallino has overplayed his hand. Using Cooper wasn't just cruel, it was risky. Because Cooper isn't some greedy executive. He's raw, emotional, and loyal to his father in ways Gallino doesn't fully understand. Episode 6, theories suggest Cooper starts asking the wrong questions. Paperwork that doesn't add up, names that don't match, money that moves too clean, too fast. And once Cooper smells blood in the water, panic follows. That panic feeds straight back to Tommy. Every instinct in him says burn it all down and protect his son. But doing that means war. Not metaphorical war. Real consequences. The kind that don't end when credits roll. Gallino thrives in chaos, but only when he controls it. Episode 6 hints that control slipping, even just a little. Then there's the boardroom. Mistrust is thick. MTX is hanging by a thread, and everyone knows it. One wrong vote, one leaked document, one whisper to the wrong regulator, and the company collapses. That's where Gallino's elegance becomes his weakness. Because boardrooms leave paper trails. And Tommy has lived long enough in this world to know where bodies are buried, financially and otherwise. Cammie's role may be the wildest card of all. Episode 6 could expose whether she's been quietly collecting leverage of her own, if she's been feeding Tommy just enough truth to prepare him, or if she's been seduced by Gallino's promise of stability and survival. Either way, when her position finally comes into focus, it could swing the entire balance of power. And don't sleep on Angela. Her chaos isn't random. She sees through men who hide behind power. Episode 6 might finally let her unpredictable instincts cut through Gallino's polished facade. She doesn't fear him, and that alone makes her dangerous. The episode's title isn't poetic for nothing. Dark Night of the Soul is the moment where illusions die, where men see themselves clearly, whether they like it or not. Tommy may finally realize he can't fix this by standing alone in the storm. He needs allies, family, dirt, leverage, something Gallino can't buy or threaten away. Because here's the truth Gallino may have missed. Tommy Norris has survived worse than cartels. He survived his father, his childhood, his own failures. And men like that don't fold quietly. They endure. They adapt. And when pushed far enough, they strike back in ways no one sees coming. Episode 6 feels like the line in the sand. Not the explosion, the decision before it. The moment Tommy chooses whether to keep playing the honorable fixer or become something Gallino never planned for. So when the dust settles and the smiles fade, the real cliffhanger isn't who pulls the trigger. It's this. When Tommy finally makes his move, will Gallino even realize the war has already begun?